friends. But when you hear that music, that means it's time for the Soulful Psalms segment of Beacon of Truth. The Soulful Psalms is where you take one of the Psalms from the wisdom literature of the Old Testament, the Sefer Telachim, in Hebrew, the Book of Sung Praises, the hymnal for our Jewish brothers and sisters that we also use in each and every holy sacrifice of the Mass, and we connect that Psalm to your everyday lived experience. And the great thing is that the Soulful Psalms is now its own podcast. That's right. You can go to Podcast Central at the EWTN website, or, as I do, download and use the EWTN app, which is amazing, awesome content, as well as your favorite podcast platform, SoundCloud or iTunes or Spotify, to listen to the Soulful Psalms each and every day. Well, today we're going to continue our look at Psalm 42. So Psalm 42 is the first psalm at the start of Book 2 of the Psalms, Psalms 42 to 72, and Psalms 42 to 49 are by the sons of Korah. So remember, Korah rebelled against Moses and Aaron in Numbers chapter 16. It said that the ground opened and Korah and his family went down alive to Sheol. And the followers of Korah were swallowed up by fire from heaven. And the only ones to survive were the sons of Korah. So not the physical sons of Korah, but those who did not rebel in the Korahite rebellion. We see those in Numbers chapter 26, verse 11. And not only are the sons of Korah part of the musical guild, the superintendents of the musical guild of the Jewish temple, they were also caretakers and custodians of the sacred vessels and vestments that were used in the sacrifice to God in the temple. All right. And so Korah also means baldness in Hebrew. You can see a whole list of all of the musicians from the musical guild in 1 Chronicles 15, 16 to 22. So we've already started looking at Psalm 42. So we're going to continue our look starting at, we're going to look at a couple of verses because we want to bring in our guest today. So we're going to start with look at verse 6. And so the prescript or superscript of this psalm says, I'll do it in Hebrew first. Lebenzeach maskil livni Korah. So it says, for the choir master, a maskil of the sons of Korah. So Korah wrote the words of this song and gave it to the choir master to put music to. And it says a maskil. Now, today, maskil means enlightened one, or enlightened one, or someone who's intelligent, something like that. But obviously, back when these psalms were written, we don't know what these words mean, how they were used back then. Right? So let's dive in at verse 6. Why are you cast down, my soul? Why groan within me? Hope in God, I will praise him yet again, my saving presence and my God. Right? So sometimes we do feel that way, right? Our soul feels kind of down. We're sullen about something. We have something that's on our mind. Maybe because we're talking about the show today, loved ones away from the church. Maybe you have a son or a daughter, who's away from the churches. I don't understand. I mean, they went to Catholic school and they were in youth group and they got confirmed. They went to Mass with us every Sunday. Now they don't go to church. My grandkids aren't baptized. And so maybe your soul is down within you. Maybe you're, in chronic pain. You wake up every day in pain. You spend the day in pain, go to bed in pain, and wake up the next day to start it all over again. Maybe as I just heard recently, some folks who lost their spouses, and are celebrating the first birthdays, the first anniversaries without your spouse. So whatever is causing your soul to be cast down, the sons of Korah here are telling us, have hope in God. I will praise him yet again, my saving presence and my God. We're in the Jubilee year of hope. Right? Our faith gives us hope in the power of Christ's love and Christ's resurrection is from the dead. That gives us hope. Then also just verse 7 quickly, my soul is cast down within me. Therefore, I remember you. Right? It's easy to find other things that distract us. We're in depression. Some people turn to things that pleasure them, like pornography or alcohol or drugs and things like that. No, sons of Korah reminding us that we need to turn toward the Lord in these times of despair. From the land of Jordan and Mount Hermon, from the hill of Mizar, So he's talking about from the furthest ends of the kingdom. Like no matter, in other words, you can't get far enough away from God where he's going to not remember you.
For more on the Soulful Psalms with Deacon Harold Sivers, check out Beacon of Truth weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio and streaming everywhere you listen to podcasts.